So we're just taking the I need thought right now, which really relates to that one thought behind all pain and how it got linked up to a survival need or a story. What is your situation where this thing was happening?
What I noticed that came to my mind was a lot of thoughts about my body, and they were thoughts about how I feel uncomfortable. And I have health challenges. I've had MS for 35 years and with pain, and I've had COVID and COVID blackouts and injuries and concussions and lots of health challenges over the years that have been ongoing and then sometimes more critical and then sometimes long recovery. And my doctors call me a healing machine, which also is in my brain because I think I have expectations about my body. And so my body should be should feel more comfortable. I need my body to feel more comfortable. That's my thought. And I do.
Thank
I
you. Yeah,
really
and
do.
it can be the should statement too. It's a very similar thing, but yeah, we're sort of doing the I need one, but the my body
Yeah.
should feel more comfortable can also be there. But yeah, I know. And with chronic conditions, I had chronic illnesses for a very long time, and I've watched you when you were around more, really going through some very critical things as well as some very everyday low level things. And so that's this story. I'm sure you've probably worked it before, and we can get a lot of
No.
progress with them, and then they can still come back on the different levels. Life will continue to challenge us until we, really are in a place of of loving what is. And it's hard when you're hurting to love it sometimes, but we can also make it a whole
Yeah.
lot worse by believing the thought that we needed to be different. We needed to stop projecting into the future. You'll see with those four thought types that we can do all of that stuff around physical pain. So just to do the four questions briefly, you need your body in your situation, which is right now, even like just be in this moment, even close your eyes if you want, feel the places that are screaming at you or just not so comfortable. And it can be my body, or it could even be sort of more focused on those places. And then the thought, I need my body to feel more comfortable. And just a yes or no on this first question, is it true?
Yeah, that feels really true.
And just for everybody out there, it's good to give an honest answer because sometimes you're coming from the minute you start questioning, sometimes you see right away, oh, it's not even true. I'm just upset telling myself a story that I don't even believe. But if you are still attached to that story, then we go to the second one. You need your body to feel more comfortable in this situation, in this moment, or when it's hurting. Can you absolutely know that that's what you need?
No.
And I kind of, usually we would just say, can you absolutely know it's true? But sometimes with the need thought, I reword that one slightly. So yeah,
Well, what I'm thinking is like it's over 50%. Yeah, no. So I'm going with the no. It's not a
so
hundred percent no, but it's over
you know what?
50%.
I would go ahead and honor the part of you that's still saying yes.
Really?
So it's up to you, but you don't have to quote be good or think. I know we get to this spiritual place where we know, well, I can't know what is supposed to be happening other than what is happening. And that's kind of where we go with this. But if you're not fully believing it, it's fine to
Mm,
say no, because that's
yeah.
sort of telling this part of you that says, no, I want to
More
feel
true.
better.
Yeah.
So you can say yes, no, I don't know. So yeah, we'll just, and
Yeah.
sometimes
I
I
feel like
don't even go
I
ahead.
want to address the no part. I want to address the no part.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't even focus on questions one and two, especially if it's a childhood wound. The more important thing is how do you react when you believe that thought? So that's question 3. Sometimes questions 1 and 2 can loosen things up and you're off and running. You don't even need to do more work because you've seen through your story. But if it's got you, that means it's got a gift for you too, something you're believing that's out of alignment with reality as it is unfolding. So how do you react? What happens, Laura, when you believe the thought, I need my body to feel more comfortable?
I start to feel, the things that are hurting in my body more. I start to feel my legs feel more weak and more sore. My shoulder, my head, my parts of my body that have been injured even from when I was small, they come back to me, and that they feel, some of them, I'm not saying all, but some of them feel feel more sore. Um,
What emotions do you experience? This is still part of question 3. When you believe the thought, I need my body to feel more comfortable. And by the way, Allison said an hour, but in my mind, this first segment was probably going to be longer, closer to an hour and a half, and we're going to see how it goes. But if y'all are watching the clock, I mean, if you need to get up and get a drink or something, feel free. But yeah, so what emotions, like what comes up for you? How do you feel about the fact that your body is being really uncomfortable and in pain, and you're believing it shouldn't do that. You're believing you need it to be different.
I feel a sense of hopelessness, sadness. I also feel a bit of wonderment, like wonder why this is here, you know, with the hopelessness and the sadness.
So we have these concepts that have been really helpful. That Byron Katie is the first one to bring them to my attention. 3 kinds of business: yours, mine, and God's. And what I say, think, do, and feel by this definition is my business. What you say, think, do, and feel is your business. And what is sort of the all that is, the weather, whether something hurts or not, or just that. And it could be that your body also, you can be in your body's business. So using that definition of the 3 kinds of business, and the definition of God, by the way, I sort of think of it as life, as the great what's happening, as what's showing up in any given moment that's out of our control, even our own behavior. If we were always in charge of what we say, think, and do, we'd be happy all the time. So stuff is actually just showing up. And I include that always in God's business, but there still is a thing where you are more focused on observing what am I doing versus what is somebody else doing. And in your case, it's a little tricky because you've separated you, your personality, from your physical body. So whose business are you in when you believe the thought, I need my body to feel more comfortable?
Well, in this instance, I could say that it's my body's business. I could say that it's God's business, but I can also see myself like judging my body, and so like part of me feels like it's mad at myself or even judge, feeling bad about my
Right.
body. So how this feels messy to me about whose
Yeah.
business it is.
I think those are all really good observations. And I was just sitting here thinking, what a brave journey you've been on. Mm. It just, you know, It's been a long haul, and I think it's courageous to continue to work this because you know you can get a little more freedom each time. It presents in different ways, and it is worth being there for those little, being the curious, compassionate caretaker of the parts of you that are experiencing this pain and believing their thoughts and getting scared that it's only going to get worse, or it has to stop, or I won't be okay. And so, yay for you, showing up for yourself and to look at that from the perspective of definitely in some ways it's your body's business because we're just not in charge, really. Our bodies are just taking care of business,
Mm,
doing whatever it thinks it's doing in there to restore homeostasis by hurting here or creating extra cells there or, you know, weakening something over here, causing something else to clench. And so clearly you're not sitting there saying, I think I'll feel this way. So the body
mm,
definitely is having a mind of its own. And for those of you that are new to this concept, when we are in others' business, like that person needs to be doing something different, but we're not in charge of what they're doing. Um, that we are automatically going to be experiencing pain, emotional pain, because we've separated from the reality that's showing up and we're placing a condition on it. I need it to be this. So, the same with our body. We separate from our bodies and we kind of clench down and we hate that thing and the way it feels and the mind saying, I need this to be. So just noticing, oh, I'm in my body's business. Oh, I can bless my body to do whatever it's doing to, or at least I can get out of its business because I'm not in charge and it's a hopeless quest to believe that I am. So that's one. The business of what happens, what shows up, I think of that as life, the great what's happening, God's business. So in some ways, all of it is that. So definitely what shows up in any given moment, like you might be concentrating enough right now that you're not noticing some of this stuff in your body. Okay. So who knows what's going on, but just the way life is showing up in any given moment. So you're right. It's also God's business. In terms of your business, the judgments itself, like you watching the judgments, you're right. You're having a relationship with your body, and in some ways that's your business. But when you point the finger at something else and say, I need it too, I need this to be different, we categorize that as some other kind of business. But you already did kind of come back into your own business by putting the camera on yourself and noticing your mind judging and stuff. So that's what's funny that humans, we have this ability to think about thought. And so, yeah, good to notice. And I think in this case, the judgments themselves. So any other comments on that, Laura? How does that fit for you?
yeah, yeah, I appreciate that feedback because like I said, it's messy and now I can feel okay in the messiness.
Yeah, if you're judging yourself for judging your body,
Hmm. Hmm.
then that's kind of
Hmm.
you being in your business.
Yeah,
But
and
if,
I could really, as you were saying it, I could really feel like, the hammer when I'm doing that. I'm like, if you just do this, you won't think about it. If you just do this, you won't feel it, and that's really some judgments on my body.
right, and on reality as it's showing up too,
Yep,
that just,
yep.
we don't choose to think the thoughts. They just sort of come in there, and then if we judge ourselves for having them. Okay, so, and again, thank you for letting me do a little teaching here on your inquiry.
Mhm.
Question 4 then, come back to your situation. You're feeling the moment when it can be right now or the moment from which you wrote that worksheet. And who would you be in this moment in your situation? All of you do this work along with her. See your own situation in your mind's eye, even the I need my mom to stop yelling at me. And it doesn't mean that we're condoning anybody yelling or being abusive. It's just to be able to see that the brain is creating an arbitrary thought. And it doesn't mean even that we won't take ourselves away and get out of the line of fire. But the part that argues with reality and says, I need this to be different, when in fact it's continuing, it's not different, and yet you're telling yourself you need it to be. So who would you be in that moment without the thought? Sometimes we can be more proactive at taking care of ourselves when we're not arguing with the reality that's showing up. Would you be, what would it be like for you if somehow that thought was just gone from your brain? You couldn't think that kind of a thought. I need my body to feel more comfortable.
Well, I appreciated that, teaching, as you call it, explanating, and because it helped me to get um, separate from my body a little bit, and that's what I feel. Is I feel a separateness from my body. That it's
Is is it, you
and
mean
I
separate, not like you're saying you're bad, go away, more like, hey, you can do
mhm.
what you want and I'm still here, being me, or what?
So the separateness that I feel is a feeling of like I'm giving grace to my body. Like I'm not even some things came like when you first asked about some things came to my mind about things that my body would like that those thoughts were coming into my mind, thinking about the separateness of who I be without kind of kind of attacking and blaming and worried and that I've been feeling about my body.
Yeah, so
Just some ways of comforting.
yeah,
Like
thanks.
it feels
Anything
more
else?
peaceful.
Okay.
It just feels more peaceful and more open to possibilities. I feel more um, aligned with freedom and peace and aligned with God and His will. You know what's happening now, what's showing up, and I really I really feel like I've been judging, and and I don't feel that like mad at myself. I just like, oh yeah, I was kind of putting a hammer down on the body.
Oh, it's funny because I don't always have this, but I had sort of this visual of you just being this open, loving container for whatever shows up there in your body. And your body just relaxing as a result of not feeling judged, of feeling welcomed and held by
Hmm.
you as that container. That may not fit with you, and I don't always get that involved in, interpreting this is very much your work.
Well, I feel the symptoms of my body, but I can feel them more like, and I feel the judgments that want to come, but I just feel like, hey, like if you want to use your container thing, like, hey, we're just here safe. We're not we're not um we're not all that pressured that 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 I, and so it
Yeah.
feels more compassionate and loving space to hold my body.
I like the idea of sort of going, hi, I see you.
Hmm.
But I mean, I've had people just complete cessation of pain, and we're not going there right now. But one woman had a huge lump of fluid behind her knee, and it was just killing her. And we worked on the nature of pain and how it's sort of always a projection and just different things. And all of a sudden she's like, I cannot find the pain anywhere, but my psoriatic arthritis in my thumb is like somebody hitting me with a hammer. And so we went there, And within 10 minutes, she couldn't find that pain either. So it is funny that how it morphs and how the holding of it, the way we hold it, has a huge impact. And there's the future story of it's never going to go away. It's only going to get worse. And I also noticed because I used to have a lot of physical pain and fatigue, and I'm kind of boundless energy, and I've been so blessed to have little pain now, is that when I was doing the work while in pain, I usually couldn't find emotions. Like, what do you feel? The emotions all seem to be held in the pain, so I couldn't find some actual emotion. So it's just interesting relationship, especially when it's chronic, because it's all tied up. If you break your arm and you know it's going to heal, or you have the flu and you know you're going to get better or something, it's very different. Chronic illness gets fear built into it and projections into the past and future, beating yourself up for what you did to make it worse, fearing, can I do this? So if you come back to then with your thought, your situation, we're going to turn it around very quickly. If we turn the thought around to the self, this is where we go, and I'll teach this on Thursday. I need me to feel more comfortable. Um, I need my body to feel more comfortable. You know what? In this case, lots of times if we have an object like feel more comfortable, I need my body to feel more comfortable with something, but I need me to feel more comfortable with my body could be the turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
So that your path to peace then isn't making your body stop being
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable, but you being more comfortable with it as it is. Does
Yeah,
that
that's
resonate?
true.
Can you give an example?
Like without the thought, I felt more, more, more openness and peaceful and curious and compassionate around my body. Those are ways that I can, um, you know, need to be more comfortable with my body.
Right. And since her body is the other, what we just did there, which I'll teach you guys on Thursday, was the turnaround to the other. If we do the turnaround to the self, and I'm just going to feed them to you in the interest of time, I need me to feel more comfortable with myself. So
Mm-hmm.
you would then, in your work, as you go through your days and nights, look for ways that you're just not comfortable with yourself, that you're beating yourself up, or that you're having a story, or so can you give us at least one example of how you're not completely comfortable with yourself?
Well, I have expectations of my body, and I'm not comfortable with my expectations of my body.
Right. So
I
to
have
be
limits
compassionate
in that.
with yourself and just remember all
Yeah,
you've been through. And of course, you would have expectations and want
yeah,
more or want it to stop hurting or,
yeah.
yeah. And when you
And
bring
because I
that,
have
I,
the story and that I heal and the story that I do that, I have the expectations that that I heal. So let's hurry up and heal. And 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 it does take as long as it takes. And that's acceptance. That acceptance is not always forefront in my mind.
yeah, and if you pick those little parts of you up and get them in a snuggly and say, "Oh, that's so nice of you to want us to heal, sweetie. Thank you for that kind wish. I hear you. I see you." Instead of maybe, if you're mad at yourself for creating expectations and then being disappointed. So you can probably, as you become more comfortable and kind with yourself, that also helps your body relax and
Yeah,
integrate
yeah,
the
that's
two,
good.
they working as a team. And then the
Hmm.
turnaround to the opposite, and sorry, we're moving quickly through these, would be I don't need my body to feel more comfortable.
I don't. That's an easy one for me because I can beat myself up about that too. I can say, no, I don't need that, you know. But I think that if I found a reason why I don't need it to feel comfortable,
Well, you're still here with us. The story that you needed it to be more comfortable didn't make you disapparate, or you're not on the floor crying, although you may want to be. Yeah, you can even just look for little examples about, okay,
Yeah.
life goes on. I guess I didn't need it, even though I told myself I did. I know it's
Well, that would work, excepting for hopeless is one of my emotions. So I don't really feel like, I want to go on kind of thing. So finding a reason why I need, I don't need it to feel more comfortable. I guess it would, I guess maybe I could truly say I don't need it to when I give it, when I erase everything else in the world and I just give my body compassion, then, then I don't need it to become more comfortable because I'm just attending to my body and
beautiful.
that feels good.
And yeah, that was true for me with chronic pain and illness. If I really, really slowed down and just stayed with it, tried to be in each sensation with love and curiosity. And
Mhm.
it's like you don't need it to be more comfortable, because of its discomfort is what brought you to do this piece of work, which
Mhm.
may help you a little more and may help others in this room.
Hope
And
so.
one of our favorite turnarounds is, I don't need it to be more comfortable, because it's not. You just say,
Mhm.
what's the reality of it? It's not
Sounds
comfortable. Only my monkey mind had the story that it should be comfortable.
yeah.
I don't need it to be more comfortable unless it is, until it is. So that kind
Mhm.
of releases that being in God's business and trying to legislate reality. It's like, nope,
Mhm.
this is reality. And when we do, we sometimes find, well, wait a minute, I'm not that uncomfortable right now. Or give it permission to be uncomfortable. So, well, thank you.
Mhm.
So dealing with physical pain and aging and all of it, when none of us is immune to this story, even just being uncomfortable in the temperature of the room or your chair, or maybe you're hungry or thirsty, or and that doesn't mean, when it doesn't mean you shouldn't get up and act on your own behalf. It's just that the
Yeah.
mind will sit there and give us that story. Thank you, Laura. It's so good to see you.